How's it going, everybody? It's Matt again, and today we're going to take a look at finally Magic Square's MP Bruticus. I just did a review for their MP Blastoff that just came out, so now we're going to be combining all of them today. First, I have them all in their robot modes. What we're going to need to do first is remove all of their weapons, and Onslaught is going to stay in his robot mode, and all four of the Limbots are going to be turning into their vehicle modes, which I will do now. Okay, and we're back, and I didn't fully transform them back into vehicle mode because there's a whole bunch of stuff that we have to undo. So let's start with Brawl. So for him, you're just going to want to split the legs here. You're going to want to open up these panels. And then these back parts here, you're going to want to flip these canisters around to this side, like this. And then this panel up here, you're going to open that. And now we're going to take Brawl's combiner foot that he came with, open that up and clip it into place. And then you're going to basically, just bump the camera again. We're gonna take these two pegs and then this post here and, actually collapse the barrel first and then rotate it around the other way. Now these three posts and the three holes, just gonna plug that in there. And then we're going to take the big combiner waist, and I might have to kind of pan this up. And this is the combiner port, if it'll show. This is the combiner port that's going to go onto Brawl. So you're going to sandwich it between these legs here and just put it there, and then just squeeze everything together. It takes a bit of force, but get it together. And then we're going to just kind of peg everything together. Let me lower the camera again so you can see what I'm doing. Peg all of that together with these side panels, and then these panels. Just go ahead and close everything up along all of this. That's the easiest way of doing it, I have found. And then this big thing will just come up and it'll peg into the backs of Brawl's thighs like that. And then there is Brawl attached. So I'm going to just take this away now so it's not falling over. All right, so now we'll do Swindle. Swindle, you just want to basically unpeg this, open all this up, unpeg all this, and go ahead and just remove his wheel. This part here, the steering wheel, needs to flip to the other side. And then this is a pain in the ass. So I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna get his combiner foot, open up that panel. So this is very finicky to get this T-shape peg inside either side of this. And then this post is so freaking tight that I might have to use tools to get it to go on there correctly. So there's the one side, and no, there we go. There's the other side, and then just squeeze the hell out of it. Yeah, see, this needs to be closed like all the way in order for it to work. So let me get that off camera. Okay, sorry for not showing that, but it is it's a whole thing to get these together all the way around that peg, and it's still not completely together, but that's the best that I can do. Okay, so now we're going to take the wheel and you're going to put it into these two little holes using these two posts, like that, and then the windshield will just flip down over the top of that. And then at this point, that's messed up. At this point, we can take this whole big section here and just flip it up, and it pegs into the back of that section there. And then the bumper here, you can just flip down like that. And then now we can take the combiner waist and just slide it onto that track using that rail, right like that. And there is the lower half of Bruticus. I'll go ahead and take that away so it's not getting in the way of everything. All right, now for Vortex. So you're going to want to undo this section here, open this so that you can undo all of this. So just go ahead and move all of this out of the way and then flip up the helicopter blades. Let me move my camera back down again. All right, so you're going to want to split the legs, take the gun piece out. This whole section here, you're going to want to push these back along these tracks. Come on, camera, focus. These parts are going to flip up. You're going to flip this down like this and then pull down on these tracks again so that everything will come down like this. And then these panels are going to flip around to the other side like this. And then basically all of this is now just going to peg back together. Ideally, there we go. There we go. Oops, I forgot one thing. You don't want to peg back together yet because you want this thing here. You want to flip this up so that it pegs into these little grooves to either side of the thigh there. And then now it will all peg together. There we go. Okay, and then just kind of position these parts like this. And then we're going to take the hand that came with blast off. And you're going to take it and plug it over these two holes here. I don't know why this isn't going together correctly. I need this to peg together a little bit better. There we go. So slide this over those two pegs, and then these panels will just peg all along the sides of this in multiple locations. It'll all just kind of close up like that. Really wish my camera would stay focused. The helicopters, it kind of helps if you close the blades and then bring this back down and plug it into these pegs, one on either side. Like that. And like that. And then the arms will come back down and then slide onto this track together and then plug together, and then these things will just come back up and then just open the blades. And then that is pretty much the combiner arm. You can do whatever you want with these fins to get them out of the way or whatever. And there's the elbow. So there is Vortex in his arm mode. I'll set that aside as well. And now for blast off. So basically just open up all the panels like this. This section here, you want to close that together, get that kind of out of the way. We're going to rotate the waist all the way around to the other side, and then just kind of peg that back in to the back of the waist. Bring this back down, flip these panels in. Basically what we want to do is collapse the thighs into the legs. So we're going to need to kind of undo these panels here. And then you're going to kind of lift up on this kind of double hinge here, or put it down rather. Right? Trying to remember now how to do it. Believe, yeah, these panels should have been out. That's my bad. So these panels should have been out. Like that. And then basically, yeah, just flip these all the way up against the side here. These panels will go back down onto the sides of the legs. These panels will now flip up into the inside of the thigh. And this little peg here will peg into the inside of the thigh on both sides. It needs to be in the right area. And make sure everything is lined up perfect in order for it to work. There we go. Okay. And we can close that panel back down and kind of lock it all in place. For now, these sections here, you need to rotate the foot around. And actually, I might have to undo that again. So these sections here, you have to lift up on this, kind of rotate this back in, and the foot needs to flip around like this to the inside of the foot this time. And then just collapse this down and then put that panel down. That's kind of what it should look like. And then flip it to the inside here. Rotate this around, bring it back in, and peg everything together. So now it should have a flat surface here. And then peg this together so it should look like this. And then rotate the fin inside like this. So that's how one side should look. So same thing with the other side. Unpeg that. Go ahead and flip it to the inside like this and like that. And then bring it together and peg that together. And then this, peg in like that, and rotate the fin to the inside of the leg. Now at this point we can peg the legs, not quite yet, I almost forgot it again. This thing here in the middle, you need to open that little peg and it's going to go into these slots on either side. Like that. There we go. There we go. Get all of that together. Very good. And then the wings, you're just going to flip them around and then peg them back in where they were in robot mode, like that. And then we're going to take the combiner hand. There are kind of 2 slots here and 2 slots here. So you need to, or is it like, I think it's like this. Yeah, it goes like this. Or wait a minute. Ah, my bad. This should not actually be extended. It should be like this. That's how it should look. So now plugs in here, 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 and here. Like that. And then there is the combiner arm for blast off. You want to leave this loose. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So open this and then open up this little panel here, and that's going to prepare him for combining with Onslaught. So there is blast off in arm mode. All right, and lastly, we have Onslaught. So Onslaught, you're going to want to take his arms, lift them all the way up to the sides of his head, like this. Go ahead and just lift this up. You're going to want to undo these forearm panels, rotate them around like this, and then plug them back in. Rotate around and plug back in. And then you're going to want to lift them up on this double joint here. Lift them up on that double joint there. Around to the back. You're going to open up the side panels of the turret. And then you're going to rotate these around to the opposite side for the bigger cannons. You're going to lower this off of his back, then split the entire thing, completely open up this armature. And then we're going to open up these panels here and then flip this panel out. So open this up, flip this panel out. And now you're going to bring these arms down, and there's another joint here at this wheel. You're going to bring that arm down like this. And then, you're going to want to rotate the forearms in like this, I believe. And then bring these down and then flip them in on this joint here like this. And you're going to want to kind of rotate the fists so they're a little bit closer to each other. And it should look like this, like kind of like this box shape. And then you're going to bring all this back up. Bring this whole thing up like this. And this is going to peg in kind of back where it did before. Like this. Should be in like this orientation. You're going to peg these panels together and bring it up like this. Peg that together and then flip these two panels down over the forearms here. And we're just going to kind of leave this open for now. It should look like this. Oh man. And then come down here to the legs. So you're going to need to kind of bring the foot down like this. You're going to need to kind of just open everything up. So open these panels. Bring these out. Open that panel. And open this panel. And then open this panel. And basically you're just going to put the foot back where it was and then push the toe to the inside like this. And then we're going to close everything back up over that toe. So you got to make sure you do it in the right order. So this panel goes down first, then this panel goes in, then this panel. Come on. Then, come on. Then that panel, then this panel. So basically you're just making the toe go away. So in case I didn't show that on camera, flip this panel down, open this, move that panel, foot goes down, toe goes to the inside. This panel goes over, this panel goes over. Damn it, I did it wrong again. And now it's stuck. There we go. This panel first, then this panel, then this panel, then this panel. All right, so now his toes are gone. So now we're going to need to flip up his side skirt area on both sides. Take his hips all the way out. Extend at this part. You're going to want to rotate the legs around like this and then bring them up. So it should look like this. So rotate the legs around, bring the legs up like this. And then you can bring the panels back down, rotate the waist all the way around like this, extend this thigh joint section here, lift it up, and then the heel is going to go over this track right here, goes inside, bring this up, and collapse it onto it, kind of locking that in place. And then there's a little peg here that may or may not go inside there. It'll kind of clean itself up once we put the chest on, but it might not go in. This section here just collapse that now. So same thing on the other side. Lift this up, put it into that slot, close that, and just kind of line everything up for how it's supposed to go. Collapse that. And basically that is how Onslaught should look. So I find it easier to not put the combiner chest on yet, just to leave that as is. And I'm probably gonna have to get up from where I'm sitting to do the rest of this. So let me cut while I adjust my camera. Okay, so now we're going to bring Bruticus's legs in. Move my camera to a way that makes sense because I'm pretty much going to have to walk in frame to do the rest of this. So we're going to take Onslaught's combiner component and it's going to slide onto this track here, like this, all the way up against that stopper, right, like that. And now we're going to take the big combiner chest section, kind of lift this head up, and it's going to plug in with this peg here. It has 2 pegs to either side that'll plug in here. It has posts that'll go here, holes that will receive these 2 pegs, and then it's going to clip over the top of it. So keep all of that in mind when doing this, because it's a lot that has to kind of go together, and you have to manage those 2 pegs up on the shoulder here at the same time. Let me see if I can angle this up. You'll kind of feel everything go where it's supposed to, because you can't really see it very well. Of course, things are coming undone. But once you feel like you have everything locked in, you just bring the head down and it will just kind of slot in place over everything and lock it in like that. I know I couldn't really show it too well on camera, but the head being pushed down locks everything together. And now at this point, you'll take the big crest that you got with Blastoff, or not Blastoff, Vortex, and just plug it in like so. Kind of move back even more. Don't really have a ton of space to show it, but let me back up. We'll do Blastoff first. So for him, we're going to want to angle the combiner port up a little bit, and then it's going to go onto this track like this, and then once it's down all the way, bring the cone of the shuttle down onto the combiner peg, and then just bring the whole thing up and kind of peg it back together. And then there is Blastoff attached. And then now for Vortex, the combiner port is just going to slide onto this section here. It's not the most secure thing in the world, but it's going to just slide onto this track like that. And then pretty much there is Bruticus all combined. Oh, and the cannons here. You can extend these up. So there he is. There is Bruticus all combined. He barely fits in my recording booth. He is huge. So let me actually make a little more space here so that I can even record any of this. So obviously he's a big boy. I'm gonna do my best to kind of show him. There we go. Let's rotate him to the back so you can see how well he cleans up in the back. Looks pretty good. I like that they kind of have this panel now instead of how the Legends version did it. It didn't have that. It just had the 2 green sections where you had to actually get an upgrade kit to cover all that. It does still show kind of the bottom of Onslaught here and his fists, but it's not as bad. Rotate around. So here's where I see a lot of people complaining here about the panels on Blast Off. Is they definitely should be brown, but they're gray for some reason on this version. I don't know why. And I feel like this is a decent time for me to kind of rant about what they have done here. They have essentially made their main release the kind of faux toy version, so where it has the gray plate, the kind of pointy ears here, different smokestack or the cannons, different waist section, and it has gray feet. I don't know why they chose to do that, because it's a very toon Bruticus, and these are the toy parts, so it doesn't quite make sense to me. It would have made more sense to me if they released the toon parts, and a lot of people are rightfully so kind of upset because it kind of feels like they're conning people into buying their toon upgrade set, which it probably should have just come with regardless, because that's what most people are going to want for Magic Square stuff. They're going to want the toon stuff because that's usually the decos that Magic Square does. So it's like a halfway hybrid between the Sunbow toon design and the toy design, which is an odd choice, and I don't think that it works very well. I would have preferred the toon version, so I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. He does look great though. His proportions look fantastic. I've seen a lot of people complain about like the size of his head, but I think that it actually works fine. It looks more like a helmet than anything. I mean, I think I really like the proportions. It is definitely just the legend scale upscaled. But it works pretty well for me, in my opinion. The other glaring thing that people have been complaining about, and the thing that a lot of people have noticed, is he doesn't come with any weapons at all. No weapons, nothing for the combiner, no gun, nothing. Instead, they chose to convert their old legend scale shockwave to it can now be held by him, which is stupid. I like to display my combiners, my figures holding weapons. And the legend scale version came with a weapon. I don't know why they chose to not include it with this. It's kind of dumb in my opinion. But towards the end of the video, I may or may not have a solution to that, so stick around. So we're going to go over, first off, I also did want to mention, before I forget, his eyes. That's another big thing that I'm not a fan of. He has dead eyes, for sure. And it's not because he has light piping. No. It's because you can put lights in there. But they didn't include it. Magic Square did not include the actual circuitry or LEDs to make his head light up. So he just has dead eyes for absolutely no reason. They should have painted it. They definitely should have painted the eyes and then maybe given you an option in the future to replace them with clear eyes. I'm not a fan of that either. But that's pretty much all I have as far as negatives. I mean, let's go over articulation too, so you can see. His head is on a ball joint. It's the same type of ball joint that some of the other figures have had, so you can kind of rock it side to side, up and down just a little bit, and it can rotate all the way around, which is fair enough. So on Blastoff's side here, we have his shoulder can go about that far out, which is good. Can rotate all the way around on this ratchet. We did lose the butterfly joint for the shoulder that the Legend Scale version had. I don't know why they chose to remove that for the Masterpiece Scale, but you did lose that. He does rotate at the bicep all the way around using Blastoff's waist, and he does have an elbow joint which will get you about 90 degrees. His hand does rotate all the way around at the wrist. The hands pivot out, not in. Ball joint at the thumb and each of the fingers for full articulation there. 2 pins for each knuckle, so plenty of articulation for the hands for a gun that it didn't come with. Great. Over here for Vortex, and I should mention that there is an alternate configuration that you can do for the shoulder. I'm not going to bother doing that. If you want to see that, you can see some other reviewers have done it, but basically these just fold back down, kind of like how they do in robot mode, and then they just kind of sit on the sides. I think it looks goofy. I don't think it looks good. I'm not going to do it, but it is a thing that you can do. The shoulder for him can go about that far before it butts into his head. Can rotate, of course, all the way around. And at this point, I should mention that the connection point for Vortex is not very good. It is solid on mine, but I've seen some other people on like TFW 2005 complain that it slides out a little easy. So just keep that in mind when manipulating it. His arm can rotate all the way around, but the helicopter blades do kind of get in the way. His elbow goes 90 degrees, and same articulation for the hands. Nothing changed there. So now we have the waist section, and this is another point that people have kind of complained about a little bit. I got very lucky. Mine isn't as tight as what some other people's has been. So the problem isn't the rotation, because it can rotate 360 degrees, but it has an ab crunch. It has two different joints here in the waist, which allows you to lift it up and move it forwards. Some people's have been so tight that you literally can't move it. Mine is tight, but not that tight. So I can get mine to move forwards. But it takes a lot of force to get it to move. All right, so now for the waist. So the side panels can get out of the way, the back panels can get out of the way, and I mentioned when I was talking about Blastsoft's section of the review is my panels are really loose for some reason. Don't know why, but I should mention it. So his legs is the exact same thing with all of the individual figures. The front panel here is attached to the leg. Not really a big fan of that, but they've continued across all the figures, so I respect their commitment, I guess. Side panels can get out of the way, the legs can go up way far, and they can hold, which is surprising. That's impressive. They can, with the back panels, the legs can go up all the way, and they can hold decent. Oh, God. And then the front panel here, gotta get the side out of the way. On this front section here, you can get his legs way up, and it can hold. That is very impressive, actually. I'm gonna rotate it back down. Impressive. So let me kind of angle this down a little bit. All right, so his knees. So single jointed knee down here gets you 90 degrees. But they did something pretty cool here. So there's a button on the back of his thigh that if you press it, you can pull down this joint and give him a double jointed knee to get a little more. That's really cool. So bring that back and push that back in like that. Also, his thighs do rotate. So for the feet, it's kind of hard to show. The feet do rock down and up separately at two different joints. They do not rotate, but they do have an ankle rocker. Oh, and there is his articulation. I'm out of breath. This guy's heavy. So let me clean him up a little bit, and we'll do some size comparisons. Okay, so unfortunately I don't really have, well, not really, I just don't have any of my MP combiners out right now because they're all in storage because I moved. I would show him next to all of my stuff, but I don't have anything to show to him, so you're going to have to go to other videos for that, unfortunately. But I can show you with a couple of figures I do have on hand. I have Takara's MP Megatron and Magic Square's MP Optimus. And just because I do have the Legends scale version of this Bruticus. So there you go. There's some sense of scale. Alright, so now at this point in the video, I want to point out, obviously, his lack of a weapon. Now, I did just go ahead and decide to design one for 3D print, just because it annoyed me that I didn't have anything to put in his hand. So basically, I took the Legend scale version and I just kind of replicated the little gun that he comes with, and I made this. So this is specifically designed, I know it's the toon gun. I might go back and make the toy version of the gun to kind of match with his, with his toy parts, but I just kind of like the way the toon gun looks. So I went ahead and made this. It's kind of got some crap on it. The 3D print files for this are already uploaded. They're on my website, and they're on Cult and CG Trader and all that good stuff. And I also have made a post on my website. If you want a physical version of this, you can buy them there, and I'll print one out and I'll ship one to you. So go ahead and check that out. Links for that are going to be in the description for my website, so that you can get one sent to you. But yeah, it's decent size. It should scale perfectly with him. I'm just going to kind of show you that it works. Utilizing this post and that peg hole, you can just put it right in his hand, like so, and then wrap his fingers around it, and there you go. His combiner gun. Don't know why Magic Square didn't include it. A pain in the butt that I even had to make this, and pain in the butt that you guys are even going to have to 3D print one or buy one from me. But I have them pretty cheap on my website. So if you want one, feel free to check it out, buy the files, print one yourself, or I'll just send one to you if you don't have a 3D printer. So go over to my website, check it out there. Alright guys, and that's going to do it for Magic Square's MP scale Lord of War, or their Bruticus. So finally, after I don't know how long it took to release all these things, I kind of lost track. But finally we have all 5 members, can finally make Bruticus, and he looks pretty good. I mean, he's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I really, really wish that we had the toon parts instead of the toy parts, and I'm kind of upset that I'm gonna have to end up buying an entire set of pieces with a ton of extra plastic. It's probably gonna be about $100 for this stupid thing, just so that I can make the version I want. Not very happy about that, Magic Square. I definitely feel like we kind of got copped out of that, because I feel like most people don't want this. So, not a big fan of that. But for what he is, he's still a good figure. Maybe not my style preference, but he's still a good figure. It is a big shame that we didn't come with a combiner weapon, and I ended up having to design one myself, and that people are going to have to go to other means to get what they want, because I'm pretty sure most people are going to want a combiner weapon. It just kind of sucks that we have to go to these lengths. Probably should have been included with the figures themselves, given how expensive they are. But articulation is great. His legs are very impressive. Like how well, like how much range of motion, how they can hold up and everything. I think it's pretty good. All the joints are great. The only connection point that I'm not a fan of is Vortex over there. The shoulder joint, like when you're manipulating him, like I was just moving him into this pose and he popped off at least twice. It's not that he's loose, it's just that from all of the motion, it does kind of want to slide out of that track, just because it's just friction. It doesn't really lock in like the other 3 do. But that's really the only complaints that I have. I mean, visually he looks pretty good. Almost the entire thing is painted. So that looks incredible. Just wish that he didn't have dead eyes. I know that there are people out there, like somebody on TFW, I believe, was making these little stickers that you can put over the eyes to give them kind of like a metallic reflectiveness. If you know who that is, please link it in the comments, so people can go buy his things. I might consider buying them myself, just because the eyes do kind of bother me. But all in all, I think that it's a pretty good set of figures. It's just a shame that we have to go to certain lengths to get it to look exactly how we want to, because Magic Square is known for their Toon stuff. It's just so sketchy that they kind of went in a roundabout way to force you to get both decos. But I feel like the people that want this deco are in the minority. So that's just my opinion on it. But figures are decent. The combiner itself is decent. But yeah, that's all I got to say about them. Of course, if you like the video, please consider leaving a like, subscribe to the channel, comment. If you feel like supporting me, please become a member here on YouTube or go check out my Patreon. That's more for like my 3D print stuff and for my Armored Core stuff, but you can of course support me there. It's the best way to do it. Once again, reiterating, if you want one of these combiner guns, the files are already uploaded to my website and Colts 3D and CG Trader, so you can go buy the files there and print them yourself. Or if you don't have access to a 3D printer, you can also go to my website. There's a separate listing just for the gun itself, and then I will print one out and ship one to you. So you can get one there. But of course, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.